name is Lungelo, and I would like to respond to the land issue or the land question that we are facing in South Africa right now, which is who should get the land and what can we do with the land and how big should the land be, you know? And I think because we have different responsibilities, we have different capabilities, you know, the redistribution of land is a very sensitive issue, you know. I mean, Konamanje, there's the traditional land issue that has been in the media, you know, about Ebukosini Trust, you know, which the land, the King Uzolitini, how do we redistribute it to the people who are already living in that land? How do we honor them with the title deed, you know? So Indaba Island is a very broad, is so broad that we need this kind of activities where we go into the streets and we interview random people, because we all respond to land differently. We're all affected by the lack of, by our limited spaces differently, you know. And Black South Africans, for example, there's been a lot of exploitation when it comes to redistribution of land. You know, some of the RDP houses are not getting to the right people, you know. Some of the RDP houses are being given to our foreign brothers or from different African countries, and leaving those who have been in the waiting list, South Africans who have been in the waiting list, stranded, which also inspires this xenophobia, you know. Indaba Island also is a very sensitive issue to me personally, because I worked in Northwest not so long ago, about 7 years ago, where black people were exploited from 1927 by a company that is mining slate in Mazista, you know. And in that experience, there was one farm owner who owns 99 farms. Who, at the time, he had 99 farms all over South Africa, you know. So when it comes to the title deed, we were robbed by the Constitution. We were robbed by OCRs, you know. Even now, the Constitution is not working on our favor, you know, because it's a willing seller, willing buyer. But you can't buy if you don't have money. So the willing seller, willing buyer is for the elites. Does that mean that land is available to the elites, those who have the power to buy? You know? But what about my grandmother, my great-grandmother, who was robbed to go to sign a law, you know, not knowing what she's actually signing her land away, you know, signing the wealth of her ancestors away. There are places where you find a farm worker was buried in a farm, and they remove the grave in the farm, you know. So that means that farm worker does not have the azo yakho ayo khuluma nenyanya zakho ayolungisa igrave yomuntu wakubo kade sebenza kuleyo farm leyo. You know, there's a huge responsibility that white people in South Africa need to take, that they are avoiding to take, you know, in terms of the privileges that they enjoyed during apartheid, which are still benefiting them today. And the land issue is a very huge privilege that they had access to, you know. Abo mama bethu behlala emakishini behlala in the backyards. I'm renting one of the backyards that my mother used to live in when she was a domestic worker in that house. I'm renting that backyard, you know. And I still don't have land, you know. After I graduate from whatever I'm doing, I will still have to work for another 20 years to acquire the land. You know, the land issue has a multi-layered dynamics, in a sense that if I'm buying a car, for example, you know, buying a car, the repayment of the car is much quicker than the repayment of the land. It takes 20 years to pay back the bond. It takes 20 years to pay back the bond, but the payment of the car is made quicker, you know. So there's a manipulation, there's a multi-layered manipulation that has been played upon us because of us, you know. And at some point we end up losing interest now, you know. So the government is trying to redistribute land fairly. They really need to speak to the different levels of our communities, different sexes, different races, You know, men on the ground, ordinary people that are just walking by. You know, they need to be engaged on this kind of issues. So it's something that we have never thought about. We think about the paycheck. We don't think about the land. You know. So now, if you're asking me about what do I think about the land, you are actually evoking my ancestral spirit. You know, because I need to reconnect with them. What was their agenda before they got consumed by day-to-day living, before they got consumed by hand-to-mouth kind of lifestyle that we are consumed by now in the urban cities, you know. But hopefully we'll find a workable resolution to it.